Marcia Johnson, clerk and recorder.
Take a vote on it.
Oh, we didn't take it?
Take a vote on it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Ms. Marcia Johnson, clerk of court report.
I don't have a report this morning, Mr. Chairman.
All righty. Alan Garrett, Star.
Good morning. I have a brief report this morning. Item number one, inform the board the U.S. Treasury has not yet approved the county's planning grant for our Restore multi-year implementation plan, so we hope to receive that by May 1st. We haven't got it yet. Number two, as I previously mentioned, I will be attending an April 27th water management meeting to see what additional projects the Water Management District is thinking about applying for Restore funds.
Hey, we can't hear.
And I say parenthetical, on the same day, I'm going to go to the Water Management District. DEP is going to come down and meet with each commissioner to talk about the proposed improvements of the St. George Island State Park. The meetings will start in Carabel with Commissioner Sanders at 10 and Commissioner Massey at 10:30, and then the meetings will shift over to Apalachicola and we'll get with other commissioners and set up the schedule. But just keep April 27th open for a half-hour meeting with DEP to talk about improvements that they're going to make at their expense over time at the St. George Island State Park. Number three, Commissioner Sanders will be attending the consortium meeting in Tampa on April 21st. While the consortium has already voted on how to split up their money, the meeting on April 21st will be to elect consortium board members. And as you know, Warren Yeager from Gulf County is currently a member, but he was appointed a member when he was a county commissioner, and there may be some issues about whether he can stay representing an officer in that consortium. So Commissioner Sanders is going down there. There will also be a proposal to continue the structure of the Committee of 8, of which Franklin County is a member because we are one of the 8 disproportionately affected counties, and to continue the Committee of 15, which are the other 15 counties in the 23-member consortium. The U.S. Treasury still has not approved the consortium's planning grant either, and therefore the state's expenditure plan has not been developed. So we're all held up in the same net, and we don't know when the U.S. Treasury is going to act.
I'll report back at the next meeting on what happened at the consortium, because I'm very concerned about it, I can tell you. Because Warren Yeager has been a very vocal representative for our area, especially the 8 affected counties with the BP oil spill, and it concerns me. So we'll just have to wait and see what's going to be played out Thursday.
Yeah, Commissioner, I think you're exactly right. My concern is that the consortium is being split into 2 pots, 2 groups, essentially 15 versus 8, and in Democratic society, 15 is usually going to win, and those 15 counties were not the affected counties. So we're in a battle of numbers here.
And that's my problem. From what I understand, the 15 counties got their own representatives to want to knock Warren Yeager out of the vice chairman seat. So we'll just have to wait and see how it plays out.
Item number 4, Commissioner Massey has asked me to talk about whether Restore funds could be used to dredge the East Point Channel. I believe Restore funds could be used. In the past, the county has requested the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers dredge the channel with funds appropriated by Congress. The board has also sought state funds to dredge the channel. The Corps did use its own money to pay for the cost of getting the permit, and the state of Florida has issued a permit to the Corps for dredging the channel and placing the spoil in the East Point breakwater. I have spoken to the Corps about the prospect of the county providing funds for the dredging if Congress continues to fail to provide funding. And right now, Congress is continuing to fail. The Corps representative reminded me that the permit issued for dredging the East Point Channel was issued to the Corps, so the Corps controls the permit. The county could provide the Corps the money, but the Corps would still bid out and oversee the dredging because the Corps is responsible for complying with all the terms of the state permit. So it's something we could do, but we would have to do it in concert with the Corps of Engineers.
So they would do the bidding out on it.
They would do the bidding. We would enter into a contractual agreement with the Corps, committing a certain amount of money that they will go out to bid for the project in accordance with the permit that they have. And now I'm going to say things to you that we haven't worked out with the Corps, but essentially we would have to have an agreement with the Corps that this is the amount of money we have available, bid it out, let's see what the terms are, and before Corps you award a bid for $5 million, and we've only set aside $3 million, let's say, you have to come back to the county and get a permission before we actually award this, before the Corps awards that bid, because I don't know, I believe the dredging permit process could be done for somewhere around $3 million, but until you actually go out for bid, I don't know what it's going to cost. But the Corps would do the dredging because they have the permit. Now, I asked the Corps, this is now over a year ago when I had this conversation, but I asked the Corps, well, can we get the permit from you? And they said, no, we made the representation to the state of Florida. We cannot transfer the permit to the county. It's our permit, and we will do the dredging for you.
But they would do it,
Oh, they'll do it. If
Yeah,
you
they're
get
gonna
the
do
money,
it.
they'll do it, absolutely.
but they would do it.
They would do it, yes.
Okay.
Alan, Mr. Chairman. Yes, sir. Same time we've been discussing, dredging East Point Channel, I'm not against that at all. We had people come out, the Creekmore Channel there in Apalachicola needs to be dredged. I think one time, a commissioner mentioned maybe getting a drag line out there, you know, trying to, well, if we're gonna use some of this restore money for this, then I think we need to do the Apalachicola Creekmore Channel there that goes out to the middle of the bay is also filled in. The sprinklers are having trouble getting out between the breakwaters there in Appalachia. So, I mean,
Well, any,
another issue is are we gonna use county restore money for this, or are we gonna use some consortium money for this?
well, that's a
Two
decision the
different
board
sets
has
of
not
money,
made.
two different pots of money. One's a lot bigger than the other. So, I mean, that's another issue. But if we're going to move forward with that, we're kind of circumventing Restore Council because we've not accepted any projects to Restore Council at this time. But when we start moving forward with it, if that's what the board desires to do, then we need to submit this project to council, get their input, and then bring it back to the board. We don't need to circumvent them. If we circumvent them, then there's no sense in having a Restore Council.
That's
But when
correct.
we get the money, then we're gonna bring it for the council.
But we need to take care of this other channel too.
Well, we need to contact, and, someone can contact the court, check on, the permit needs to be issued for the dredging of the Creekmore Channel. I mean, I agree, it probably needs to be done, but there needs to be, the court needs to get that permit.
Right, so we need to start working on that. We're not to the point of having the money to do East Point Channel either, but we need to get with the Corps. Same way you got with the Corps on the East Point Channel, start getting us a permit. Now, we already have the site out there to pump the dredge material to, all that's there. So, I mean, it don't go in the breakwaters, it goes into the pit out there that they built up. So we need to start moving forward on that also.
Well, and on the East Point Channel, we found out we were, one permit, we could have one permit for maintenance dredging, right?
Well, we have a brand new permit now to
But we
create.
already have one that we could automatically.
Well, we had, to be honest, we had one, but because of all that open water disposal permit was issued back in the 80s or early 70s. And the state of Florida basically told the Corps, well, you could have done that, the rules have changed, we're not gonna let you do that. So the open water disposal has been modified so that it is on the breakwater now. And they're gonna build basically a marsh environment on the ocean, on the base side of the breakwater. They'll build an ocean, they'll put silt fencing up there and build a marsh area there. That will be literally planted with marsh grass, and you'll have more of a marsh effect on the other side of that breakwater.
You remember when it first all came out, Alan, many years ago, they said that, in that state, said that you couldn't do put the spoil on the breakwater because of the mercury content in the
Right.
water. And then it went to the school, it was gonna do it, help the school side, and, that was years ago. And you got an item down here, number 5, and I'm gonna let you go ahead and read that, and then I'm gonna comment on something, but I want you to go ahead and read that
Okay.
item number
All
5,
right,
and then
so-
those go hand in hand what I got to talk about.
Okay, so there was a SMART meeting last night in Apalachicola. A lot of people attended, and we had, I know several of the commissioners were there also, so they may add more than I can say. But I talked to Betty Taylor-Webb this morning, who was the facilitator of the meeting, and she said one of the issues came up was about dredging the East Point Channel. The other issue came up was summer harvesting hours, that the state of Florida was there, and while no decision was made, the statements were made that there could easily be quite a bit of shrinkage of hours available for summer harvesting. The state is going to come back to the SMART group next spring to talk about it when it's closer to time, but summer harvesting could really be cut down quite a bit based upon the discussion of last night. And then the other issue is the SMART group, or the members there, talked about the check stations. And the state of Florida has shut down the check stations and has switched over to having more law enforcement on the bay right now. But how long that lasts, I don't know, and it wasn't clear what the next step is from law enforcement. So you have those two things in play last night that were not resolved.
They said they'd stay as long as they can in the vehicles and the boats to process it, but the summer of harvesting, they said could go to 9:30 in the morning and be back at the dock. It's no way.
There's no way.
What they're basically telling you is we're looking at closing
The
summertime.
summer
harvest.
season down.
I mean, they're going to condense those hours down to where somebody can't make a living, so they might as well just come on out and say,
They shut it down.
we're gonna shut it down in the summer. As we all know, we've been here a long time, everybody's born and raised here. we remember the time you didn't oyster in the summer. That's when all your Vibrio regulations kick in, which requires this time and temperature control. And what it sounds like is that those restrictions are getting even more. Now, those are dictated by the FDA. They're not dictated to us by the state of Florida. The state of Florida has to comply with those regulations in order to be able to ship those oysters across state lines. Interstate Shellfish Shipping Commission is ISSC. On the check stations, I like the check stations. I think, you know, how many complaints I've had since check stations have been in place from individual oysters? None. They caught just as many oysters. They caught nice, pretty oysters. They're easy to sell. They're easy for the dealer to sell. I've had no complaints about check stations. No phone calls, no individuals at the store, the post office saying we hate check stations. But now the state of Florida is taking those away. And what I can't understand is why, when we got all these millions and billions of dollars of BP money that is out there to help restore the Gulf Coast and to restore the economies, why they can't find a little money to operate these check stations, just as we did in 1985 when the bay went down because of the hurricanes. It all worked. The massive shelling, the check stations, the bag limits, everything we did in 1985 worked. And the commissioners and the public in general probably heard me say this a year and a half, 2 years ago when I told the state reps the same thing. I said, go back, look what we did in 1985. It worked. My looking on, envisioning all this is, you know, it hurts a little bit today, but what we're trying to do is get the bay back where these people can go out and actually make a living for their family. If you got to sacrifice a little now to get back to where you want to be in a year and a half, you know, it's painful right now, but we're trying to get you back on your feet, get you back where you can make a living, and rebuild the oyster industry. And sometimes you got to take a little pain to get a little gain. And these check stations are a big part of that. And why they say they just cannot afford to do it, it's beyond me. Because there's so much money out there the state is getting in all these different pots of BP money that is specifically to restore your ecosystem and your environment. Why we can't find the money to do that, I'm not sure. I think the state went about it in the wrong way when they put 9 officers over there in East Point to do bag checking, when they should have some OPS guys there picking the oysters up, bringing them to the officer, let him check them. You know what? There's ways of doing it that cuts down on the cost. You don't need 9 law enforcement officers in one place checking oysters. I mean, so to cut the cost down and make it operate more efficiently, there's things they can do that's not going to cost the state or the county government, you know, $2 million a year, because if you operate efficiently, $2 million a year, I mean, $2 million, you ought to be able to operate for 3 years. And not be state money or state taxes or local restore funds. There's plenty of money out there for them to say that they just can't access the funds as a state government is beyond me. So, you know, that's my interpretation of these check stations. And without them, it's detrimental. I went into an oyster bar the other day. I'm already seeing smaller oysters that are being harvested. And when the check stations were in place, they were all nice, pretty oysters, and everybody eating them was bragging about it. You know, and I think the oystermen have been catching just as many legal oysters here lately as they were back when we were doing some things we shouldn't be doing. So, I mean, if we go back to that without the check stations and start catching undersized oysters again, we're going to be right back where we were when we started a year ago. So, you know, I don't know what to tell them to do about it. I was invited to the meeting last night, but I've already told them all this. I really ain't much more input I could have on it, you know.
Well, the SMART meeting, we always have a representative there, because if you have 2 or more commissioners there, you have to have the press there. And usually Commissioner Massey has been representing us. Prior to that, there's other commissioners. And so I don't go anywhere where there may possibly be 2 or 3 commissioners at one time, maybe discussing something that's possibly going to be brought up in the board, because that's a violation of sunshine law. But the one thing I wanted to say is, in coalition of that, what you said, Commissioner Parrish, was these 9 officers are not from the Franklin County area, so they come in here and they have to stay in our hotels and stuff. And so the state's having to accumulate that money there too to pay for those hotels and motels also for those officers. But one thing I was thinking about on the East Point Channel, you know, this is one of the things that I was worried about to start with, and I think the board agreed with me. I feel the board agreed with me, was, you know, all the people going out for all this money through NERDA, NIFWIS, and all that, and the talking about the BP funds and stuff. And we, the local government, don't know anything about it. They're not obligated to say anything to us. And then we just heard about $7 million being given through the U.S. Department of Agriculture to the Florida Department of Agriculture for, and we've got Marcia Mathis here, Senator Montford representative. Thank you for coming, Miss Marcia. And so she knows what I'm talking about. And then you got Northwest Florida Water Management and the Department of Ag being given $7 million to restore Tate's health, when the whole basic thing is to restore the Apalachicola Basin. And I'm going to say, I would like to request, and maybe we can write a letter to the state legislators and to the federal legislators, and ask if any of this $7 million can be reappropriated to the Creekmore Channel and the East Point Channel as part of the restoration of the, yes ma'am? Yes ma'am? Oh, we got somebody out there shaking her head, I didn't know. But anyway, to be, going through with that, it's just something to possibly look at other funds being used instead of the BP money that's coming from the county and stuff.
No, you're right, Commissioner Sanders, exactly right. Here, the Apalachicola Bay is the area we're trying to enhance, but yet all the money is being spent in other areas. And they're saying, well, there will be an effect. Yeah, but it's delayed. I mean, we want something done in the bay, not.
Well, and what you're talking about, the dredging of the East Point Channel, is it gonna be too little, too late? That's the thing that worries me. And that's what.
Yeah, I don't want to mislead anybody on the timeline. I mean, I don't know when it will be. This is 2016. It won't be 2016. It most likely will be 2017. It might be 2018 before you see the feds really letting this money go.
And that's what I'm saying. And that's what you're saying about that. And also, you're not going to be seeing any of this money coming down in the near future on any way around it. I just don't see it. And, we had a chance to do it back when Congressman Ford was in office. We had the money appropriated. We tell the story every time. We had the money appropriated, $1.5 million, and then Katrina hit Louisiana, and all money was transferred to there. And, this is, to me, this is the lowest thing on their radar screen.
It is, unfortunately, because the channel.
It's sad to say.
The channel is by the federal standards is designated a local channel, and it has to be a local sponsor. So the Corps wouldn't be dredging this if we weren't asking for it. It's not part of the Intercoastal. It's not part of their normal mission, and they only will dredge the East Point Channel if money is specifically allocated for that channel.
And as Commissioner Sanders said, they took the money, but when Mr. Ford, Congressman Ford was in there, when they took the money, they then passed a law that when money is set aside for a project, it cannot be reappropriated. So it put the Corps in a bind where they couldn't take money from here and give it back to East Point where it should have been, because there was a law passed where when they specifically authorize a project, you cannot move those monies around. So we got hit with a double whammy. The money was gone, and then now we can't rob Peter to pay Paul. And that's the conflict that the Corps has now. They're not authorized to move money from one thing, or if they had extra money, they're not allowed to move that over. It was allocated for this project, and it has to be spent on that project or else returned. So we got hit with a double whammy when they stole up.
Well, and the reason why I'm saying that, and a lot of people may not agree with me, the reason why I'm saying what I did about the funding for the restoration in Tate's Health is just to put them on notice that we know them, that they're not, consulting the local governments as far as projects that could be used that we felt like would be beneficial to the restoration of that project.
Well, I'm going to this April 27th meeting, and that's certainly, if it's appropriate, I'll ask, what options we have, if you want me to.
Yeah.
But who knows what else they're contemplating. They have, the state and the federal government have more access and more opportunities for this BP money than we do. I have one last thing that's not important. I got an email from Chris Hawley this morning. Chris Hawley is the Gulf County Economic Development Officer for Gulf County. He's putting together a package, and he talked to me briefly about it. He's putting together a request for to DEO for a regional economic development grant that will include Gulf, Franklin, Liberty, and Calhoun counties. This will be a study to seeing what those four counties have in common. Specifically, that's what will be benefiting us is that the Gulf County Port and the Apalachicola Airport, can there be either an explanation of infrastructure or explanation of marketing strategies? What can we do for those two facilities, the Gulf County Port and the Apalachicola Airport, to work together to create some jobs? And so this will be, you'll hear about it, but Chris is the one doing the project. Right now, he has not asked anything out of Franklin County, but it will be, he's putting together a package. It's not on my report, I apologize, it came as an email this morning, but he's working on that, and I don't know whether he'll get funded or not, but it's a project that'll be economic development for 4 counties, Gulf, Franklin, Liberty, and Catalina County. And he's taking the lead on it.
It's good news.
And I'll be glad to answer any other questions if there are any.
Anybody have any questions for Alan? Michael Malone?
Sir? Go straight to item number 2, my report, we already have number 1. Attached to the agenda is a packet. It's a TDC update from Mr. Kurt Blair. Mr. Blair isn't here today in attendance, but if you have any questions regarding the items on the update, I'll forward them to Mr. Blair. He'll be here in May to discuss any of your questions and to give you another update. Item 3, inform the board that later this week, I should receive the completed amended plans for the Carabel Beach Park bathroom project. After I receive the plans, I will seek board approval to advertise for bids for both the Carabel Beach Park bathroom and St. George Island bathroom projects. Keep you guys updated.
Give me, Mike.
Sir?
All right, I'd like to go ahead and make a motion that you proceed with the bidding once you've received these plans.
Yes, sir.
Save you 2 weeks in time.
Second.
Have a motion second on the floor, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.
Okay, what I will do is send you guys by email electronically the amended plans. Okay, so you have it for the
If
record.
there's no issues from the commissioners, then you can proceed to bid before you get this bidded out.
I will. Thank you,
We've been waiting long enough.
Commissioner. Item 4, inform the board that at the August 8, 2015 meeting, the board authorized an agreement with CitizenServe to provide permitting software for the county building department contingent on the county attorney's approval. Unfortunately, the county and CitizenServe could not agree on the terms. We have since agreed to terms with another firm, Gulf Pilot, which provides the same service at the same cost. Attorney Schuler has approved the contract. I don't need a motion, I just wanted to inform you that we switched companies, same cost, same service. We already addressed item 5. Item 6, our office has received a complaint that multiple occupied RVs and other occupied vehicles are on a single family lot located at 23 Washington Street in East Point. The Franklin County Health Department visited the site based on a complaint they got of raw sewage on the ground. Only 1 unit on that property is connected to East Point Water and Sewer. Although no raw sewage was found by the Health Department, they did find other violations at that location and indicated that based on Florida statute, the property is operating as an RV park. This area is not zoned for RV parks. Board action to forward this complaint and all the information to Attorney Schuler for recommendation to the board. A copy of the complaint and the Health Department's letter is attached to your board packet.
One question from my, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
It says that multiple occupied RVs and other occupied vehicles.
There's a van. If you say, you can see it in the picture, the second picture. There might be 1 or 2 vans and another vehicle that they told me that's on that property. There's electrical wiring running between these units. There's problems with trash.
It's a big camp out, basically what it is. People just pulling some vehicles in there, camping out.
You have a motor home parked here, wire run over this, and then a water hose run under it.
And even though, Commissioner, the Health Department did not find sewage on that particular day they did the inspection, we've gotten complaints that there are other days. So it's,
And law enforcement's also on the planning office about it. There's a bunch of issues with what's going on there.
You need a motion to.
yes, sir,
I'll make that motion.
to forward the whole package to Attorney Schuler, so you can come back with a recommendation to the board how we proceed.
Have a motion?
I'll say.
Have a second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.
Number 7, Ms. Lori Schweitzer of the Franklin County SHIP program has advised me that it is time to have the board approve the 2016, I'm going to say the 2019 LHAP. It's a 3-year document. The board's first action is to decide if the language should be included in the LHAP, giving new applicants from the city of Apalachicola and city of Carabel priority over the new applicants from the unincorporated areas of the county. Afterwards, board action is needed to approve the LHAP, after which it will be sent to the state for final approval. A copy of that LHAP is attached. Reverend Sink is here to ask any questions regarding the LHAP. But I want to be very clear, Commissioner, I said new applicants because the language, you wanted to give priority to both the cities because of that CDBG grant that Deborah's working on. But you also did not want anyone skipped that was on the waiting list, and that's why I say new applicants for all three, two cities and unincorporated areas. So I need two motions.
Question real
Need
quick.
two motions?
Question real quick. When we're talking about doing the LHAP for these different, there's 3 sets of years, 16, 17, 17, 18, 18, 19. The unincorporated area, the CDBG grant that we're doing right now in the county, is that for 1 year? Is that a 1 year,
I think, I have to
Yes.
verify with Deborah, but I think it is.
Yes.
I think it
yes,
is.
it is 1 year.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is, do we want,
If your question is, can you remove this language at any time from the LHAP? Yes, it just goes through another.
I mean, we wanted the SHIP program to work hand in hand with the CDBG grant. If it's going to be exercised and utilized in a year, then I would say that the SHIP program should be utilized in a year to prioritize the city of Carabel and Appalachia during the year that we're doing some other stuff with the unincorporated area. But I don't think that we want to put the language in there that stipulates that the SHIP housing prioritize Appalachian Carabel for 3 years. You see what I'm saying? Because
Yes,
they
I see
have
exactly
other
what you're
things
saying.
interacting in there. Well, here comes Reverend Saint. Maybe he has some thoughts on that. Or maybe
No,
I'm
Commissioner,
looking at
you're
it the wrong
absolutely
way. I
right.
don't know.
And this LHAP changes for this 1 year when there is a CDBG grant. Now, if there's another CDBG grant, then we go back and franchise the entire county as we've done all.
Okay. That was my concern. Is that
Oh, yeah,
we
absolutely.
don't alienate anybody.
Yeah, right.
We're trying to get the service to everybody.
Absolutely, that's what the
Okay.
CHIPS does.
Okay.
So what I will do is tell Lori to include that in the language, and it's only good as long as the CDBG program is active. That works for
Exactly.
everybody?
Is that satisfactory to the board members?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Chairman.
The CDBG applies only to the municipalities, is that right?
No,
It's actually the other way around.
Just the other way around. The unincorporated.
Unincorporated. So
Okay.
that's why we were giving priority to the two cities.
For SHIP.
Oh, shit, got you, okay. We had this discussion last meeting.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'm fine with it.
Or you can make one motion that covers both.
Just do one motion to cover both of them?
Yes.
Okay.
So that was, okay.
Second.
I have a motion, second on the floor, all in favor? All opposed, motion carries.